most of the time you go and people say things are funny and then you see it and they're not funny. They're half funny. They're funny adjacent. Not anymore, though. Finally, I'm telling you, I saw this movie, Nirvana, the band, the series, the movie. It was the funniest thing I've seen literally in a theater in years. Everybody was having a good time, just like the old days. It was just like the old days all over again. People laughing in the theater, having fun. So I can only say, as a preamble to this conversation, you need to make it your top priority to go see the movie in a theater. Don't wait to see it at home. Go see it in a theater. Go look at other people sitting near you for once in your life. It's time to leave the confines of your home. And one half of Nirvana, the band, the series, is Matt Johnson, and we have him on the show tonight. Matt, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing, Tom?
You are. Hey, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Are you back in Toronto?
Yeah, I rarely leave. Yeah, I was in America, in your country, for the premiere, but after that, I've been back, and yeah, it's beautiful.
What is it like to try to like be in America and see this thing that was not like aimed at America find this fan base and grow like that? What has that been like?
You know, it's so different than the way the movie plays to Canadians, because I think, well, you can tell me, it almost seems as though Toronto and Canada generally plays as a kind of sci-fi premise to people. I noticed that everybody laughs at like the way that I say sorry, or the fact that I'm always introducing myself to people, like just things that are maybe not so common, but in Canada, those things are not seen as peculiar, right? And so it's been very eye-opening. I will say this: Americans like the movie so much more than Canadians do, or at least they react in the theater in a way that I've just never seen before in my life.
It was thrilling because the other thing is that the show is like a private thing for people. Their relationship to the show is that it's them watching it on their laptop, them watching it on their TV at home. And now suddenly, for the first time, it becomes this, you look around and you're seeing the other people who also like the show for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's a really great way of putting it. And I had always thought when we were making it as a TV series that it was in some ways designed to be for an individual watching it, where the space bar was literally at arm's length and they could pause it whenever they wanted and rewatch it. And it's why it's constructed to move as quickly as it does. Often, I'm not sure what type of theater you saw it in, but I'll often hear that people will lose parts of the film because the audience is laughing over it. And it's designed that way. It's designed so that like a part of the joke is how unstoppable the story is. Yeah. Like the events of the film happen in such a rapid fire way that you have no choice but to pause it. But we didn't change that approach when we made the movie. And yeah, I guess it led to this very fast, like a joke every minute experience. Yeah. But it was not by design.
But it turned, but I guess in terms of the stuff that's in your DNA, you know what you want as an audience member in a thing. So even if it wasn't by design, that's in you to try to you're on the other side of things now to give what you like to get.
Yeah, I don't want anything to hold my hand. I would say that that's one of the things that really unites Jay and I as well, is that it's so much more fun to figure it out on your own, and for whatever we're watching to not tell us when it's trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a big, big difference. And it's in some ways a modern problem that it seems as though we've developed so many cues based on reality television, et cetera, to let audiences know when something is trying to be funny. And for me, that kind of indication really kills it. Like I actually am quite allergic to that. I hate it when something is saying, now this is supposed to be funny. It's so much more fun to try to decode that by yourself.
Yeah, because you also literally might think something's funny that nobody else thinks is funny, and that's fair. To like, you don't need the sad oboe going burp, 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 like telling people, like on reality TV, it's like, this person's an idiot, you can laugh at them, they're being boring. Or it's like, just when the musical cues come, or these really like cheap edits come that just hang the person out to dry, to be just like, it's time to laugh at somebody. It's because when you're seeing the movie, yeah, it does, because you're also playing with, you don't have cues that are like I said, like the dopey oboe sound or whatever, but you like to play with themes and references from things that were not comedies that actually get thrown, like the musical cues, like when you have the Back to the Future thing go.
Right.
It's like, those are not comedy stingers, but those are, in the context of the movie, they become that, because it's this strange, like, kind of like a silent nod to this other thing that if you get it, now you just got a little bit more, but if you didn't, it was just a musical stinger and the story's moving on. So
right, it's invisible. Yeah, you know what? The whole movie, in some ways, is trying to speak in code to the audience that gets it, and I think it's why a lot of the experience of people like you who see it in a theater with other people, you invisibly transmit the secrets of the code to the other audience members. Because I have heard from other people who go to see it in an empty theater that they actually have a very alienating experience.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I didn't find any of it funny. And it's because they weren't handed the keys to the car. They couldn't even start driving, because the movie does not tell you when it's funny and when it's not. And to me, that's the joy of it, is that you really need to know how to read the book.
Yeah, you're not. It like, look, when I saw One Battle After Another, the first time I saw it was at the Vista Theater. Couldn't have been more of a home crowd for that movie. People are laughing right from the get-go because they're just like in the mood to read this as something funny.
There are people who love Phantom Thread. They understand that PTA is a humorist first. Yeah.
Yeah. But even Phantom Thread, well, I remember seeing Phantom Thread the first time I saw it. It was weirdly, people were reading it like a drama. And then the second time I saw it, people were laughing at it. Like, it was almost like people relax and can enjoy it. Oh, no, I don't have to worry that this person's going to get shot right in front of me. It's like Marty Supreme. The second time I saw Marty Supreme, I was able to just laugh the whole time and ride the ride from that point of view, because I knew what wasn't going to happen to the character. It wasn't going to be an Uncut Gems type finale. So you realize it's like, oh no, I can just have a good time with this. But your movie, it really is like everything gets poured into a blender, and people can kind of parse through it and can piece it together how it works for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I gotta say, Marty Supreme to me is the funniest movie that was made in 2025 by far. I think that movie is so funny, I started to cry at some moment. But it's funny. Like, it's your initial question's actually quite related, which is that what were me and my friends thinking about the American response to this movie? And the truth is, this is a very small, very low budget film made for an audience of about 10 people, and those 10 people are the people who made the movie. And so to try to post hoc answer a question about the intention of the how it's trying to communicate to the audience, I can come up with all kinds of ideas, but they're being backformed. That certainly wasn't on my mind as the film was being made. I'm just doing things that I find funny in the moment, or that my friends and I find compelling, or if Jay and I get into a conversation that captures our attention, that's what we're doing. And so it's not as by design as perhaps it seems.
Yeah. Well, And I think that is in the spirit of the whole thing. Hearing you talk about how this movie came together, you really were just kind of going where it took you. It seemed like for a good amount of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's this notion of basically having so little planned that when something unexpected happens, you can focus on that. The best example in the movie is after. I mean, this is a bit of a spoiler, but a character gets shot, and immediately we cut to the news conference of that exact killing. But it's a real news conference of an actual shooting that really did take place in Toronto, where we happened upon it because it was in the national news. It was outside of Drake, the musician's mansion, and we were shooting the movie that day. And so we just drove to his mansion and filmed it as though it was our movie, not even knowing how that would interact with the plot of our movie. We wrote all that stuff afterwards.
Sure.
So
you're reverse engineering these things around a killer scene that you got.
Exactly. And that as a microcosm is basically the explanation for the entire film.
So what were the biggest detours that did not end up in the final film?
Well, we did an entire other version of the movie that was a parody of the book Confederacy of Dunces that took us in that RV all the way down to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a whole other movie that didn't make it into the movie.
And how do you explain that to anybody who deals with the dollars and cents on a movie? Is just like, that part isn't going to be in the movie, but we're going to do something different.
You know what? You more or less quoted me verbatim. The fact is, because it's such a low budget film, it's made exclusively in Canada, and it's not being made for a studio. Like, this movie's financed by the Canadian government. It meant that there were not the same kind of checks and balances that I think are normal for a movie, specifically a comedy. Like, you just couldn't do this in another system.
Yeah. And when you take these detours, is it just like, hey, that'll end up somewhere else? Or is it just like, well, that'll be a good story for down the road? Like, do all these things, do you try to find a home for all of these, for things that didn't make the cut on the movie, for example?
Sure. Like, right now, the plan is to have all these things exist in the third season of the TV show, which is as still yet unreleased.
Okay.
But nothing is a waste. Like, the movie would not be what it is if we had not gone and shot that in the first place. And so the tragedy is that, well, maybe some hilarious stuff that really would make it into a great episode or into a film, we just need to wait a while before we can release it. But we're used to that. As you say, the TV show was almost 10 years old.
Yeah. Well, so when the idea was there always the idea like a movie will be the ultimate version of things, or like it will kind of, we do this and it culminates in a movie?
No, it was absolutely a means to an end. I had made the movie Blackberry in an attempt to try to gather the political will to release the third season of the TV show. And when I realized that wasn't going to happen, I pivoted to making the Nirvana the Band movie, because I thought that could get the third season of the show released.
Okay, wow. That's you're doing a dance. Someone's dancing a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
It's really well, first of all, I love Blackberry. Blackberry is such a great movie, and it was such a, like, that there's that certain type of narrative, I guess. I mean, it's like a biopic about a phone, I guess is what you'd call it. Like,
yeah.
But when you're telling those kinds of stories, like I've always been the biggest fan of those two dudes who wrote Ed Wood, Alexander and Karaszewski, because I always thought Ed Wood to me is like, I don't know if there's a better story that tells somebody's story, because they just picked that. Like, their whole philosophy was pick a window in someone's life that can embody the entire life. You don't need to show Ed Wood when he's 6, rooting through his mother's, lingerie drawer and trying things on. It's just like, just pick a 6 months that embodies the entirety of the guy's life, and that's how. There was so much of that in The Spirit of Blackberry, where it's just like you're just telling the story of these characters. You're not spending a half hour meeting them before the phone shows up. You're just telling the thing, but you know who they are through the story. I really think it's at. I think it's at the highest level that you can do one of those movies at.
I appreciate that, and this Anthony Bourdain movie that I'm just finishing has the exact same approach. I love this. I'm a huge Ed Wood fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say that right off the bat. And I think that for me, these are the only biopics that I like, is when you're shown, it's like the Lubitsch effect. Like, you're trying to show the audience the absolute minimum so that they can complete these stories themselves. Because that's the joy. Like, you as an audience, you want to participate in the stories you're told. And if you can't participate, then it becomes a kind of passive entertainment that I don't think anybody deeply enjoys.
Yeah. And then you also have to deal with watching actors in old man makeup, which just takes everybody out of everything. Because now all you do is just stare at the hair and the wrinkly skin.
Yeah, sure. It's terrible.
Yeah. That's also, I'm going to just say this. I'm not going to ask you to drag anybody. One of my favorite things about you is that you have no problem saying that you don't enjoy most things. And that.
So you really do know me. It's funny. I thought that you had just seen this film and knew nothing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's
the whole thing.
Guilty.
I've seen all the movies. I know the thing. I'm not a piker here. I'm here to do the thing right.
Yes, that's true. And I'll tell you, my philosophy on that is that I think that our society, not to elect myself, but I think that we have really been lacking in the last 15 years of like true court jesters, of people who are willing in a public way to criticize sacred cows, to talk about movies that everybody loves or filmmakers that everybody loves, and just say something that isn't just glowing praise. Because in the 90s, that was much more common. I like film criticism and critics were brutal back then, and it just doesn't seem like it exists in the same way. Again, that's my own bubble that I'm living in, but I am always trying to exemplify that in some way, because so few people are doing it, and a lot of it is tongue in cheek. But at the same time, I think that if more filmmakers were critical, I think it would raise everybody up. I think that audiences could demand more of the entertainment they watch.
Yeah,
and it would just make the world a better place.
No. I agree with that, because there is like this echo chamber that people manufacture, where it's just like the TMZ show, when they're all in the bullpen and they're all like one person will like say something and then everybody in the bullpen laughs at it. And then another person says something, everybody else just laughs at it. So it's this built-in thing. It's just like, we're all funny. Because when I say a thing, everybody laughs. Like, you just have the safety of saying something that if you said it outside of that circle, nobody's laughing at, because none of you guys are funny in the TMZ circle. But they have this kind of self-support system that just everybody gets validated. Like, man, we're funny. You hear every time I say it, like a little quip, everybody cracks up.
I noticed this exact same phenomenon in Toronto around improv training groups, which in some ways, like improv comedy is a kind of therapy. I think a lot of people use it to increase their confidence, public speaking, etc. But when that gets taken all the way up to the top levels, I'll say it like this: there's no way there was going to be an SCTV if everybody was so positive about one another while they were doing those shows. Yeah. Like, real comedy to me comes from incisive, almost cruel criticism of one another. That's how you create something that truly is funny is by peeling away everything that didn't work.
Mm-hmm. Like Alan Partridge, I think one of the best things about Alan Partridge is Steve Coogan decided with this character, the way I'm going to criticize things that I think suck is I'm going to make Alan Partridge like them. So it's like it's like this crazy thing hearing him talk about like his favorite author, like the newspaper he reads, like he's crapping on the thing by having Alan Partridge endorse it.
Right, exactly.
And it's So with the movie, obviously you play with this line of just you're shooting out and about, and it's kind of like action filmmaking. You had mentioned at the screening I saw that you had asked the audience a question that you actually did not answer. You said, what the hardest thing for us to clear was in the movie? And then people were shouting things like somebody said the Oscars with Will Smith, and you explained what did you say with that again, with the Oscars?
That was one of the easiest. That they just made us stop before he actually slapped the guy.
So
yeah.
I was trying to think. I don't know what the answer is. I was wondering, is the answer The Hangover?
No. And in fact, for a similar reason, The Hangover was also easy because we're making a broad cultural point using it. Mm-hmm. And so a great rule of thumb, if you're watching something and trying to figure out what has a strong fair use case and what doesn't, is ask yourself the question, is this piece of media extremely important or vital to the point that the filmmaker's making? Mm-hmm. Or the artist, if you're dealing with a context outside of filmmaking. And so more or less everything that is truly endemic to the film, where it's like, like The Hangover, we're making a point with that part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like when we're playing the Black Eyed Peas, when we're showing Jared Fogle, when we're showing Bill Cosby, those things are, it's like that the movie's making a point with that stuff. It's the things that are extremely tangential that you can almost say are superficially interesting, but not directly necessary. Those are the things where you're really, really, really struggling to make a fair use case for. And that's why I say it's very difficult for an audience to guess what is or is not an easy thing to clear.
Yeah. Well, what was the hardest thing to clear then?
It's funny now, because I've set this up like this, I can't actually tell you. I would have been able to tell you in that theater where where there's no pressure, but now that we're on the radio, like I can't tell you because it would be one of those things where because the fair use case isn't as strong, I would be opening up the film to not that I have any fear of this whatsoever, but isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
How it's like, the very reason that it is so difficult to guess is because it's right at the edge of our legal argument as to why we would be able to use it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Look, I'm not looking to buy you more headaches with anything.
Yeah, of course. I know that.
So, with all that stuff though, are you now just like a fair use attorney basically?
Not at all. Not at all. That person's name is Chris Perez, and he's a Californian at a law firm. I've been working with him since my first film, and he's become one of my most trusted allies on all of these films. So I understand fair use from a filmmaker's point of view, but I do not understand the legalese, not to save my life.
Sure.
It's pages and pages and pages of court documents that he uses to make our fair use case, and I get to read them, but I'm only offering my creative input, and that's it.
Well, exempting the one from the movie, what's an accomplishment like that you're particularly proud of? Something you got away with, whether it's where you shot, what you repurposed. What's one that is like a feather in your cap?
Are you talking about in my career or in
you could just any point in your career, like outside of the we'll do it outside of the statute of limitations.
No, well, I don't mind. These things are also public. That I would say, even to this day, the craziest thing that I did was my second feature film, Operation Avalanche. We shot at NASA at the Galveston campus, where they actually did the Apollo 11 moon launch, and where Mission Control was. And that is a movie about 2 CIA agents faking the moon landing.
Yeah.
And we shot literally at NASA with real NASA staff and everybody participating. And to this day, I don't know how I did that. Like I look back, I was so young that I would never ever, I wouldn't even dream of doing something like that now. But I was in my master's for school, and yeah, I had a different worldview. Well, and that was definitely the craziest.
And are you worried? You must also be worried about getting bounced from America when you.
That's what I'm talking about. That, yeah, the idea of being caught in that situation where Canadians, when really we would have had no excuse. It would have just been like, yeah, lock us up, like we really were doing what it seems like.
Yeah, it really, and the whole CN Tower sequence is still just like, I think about it and I'm just not, it really is just like a magic trick where even if you know a magic trick is happening, you look at it and you're still just like, God damn it, I can't figure out where the trick is in all this.
That's the real genius of Penn and Teller. Like Teller's got this great quote where he says, most magic is just an audience not being able to believe that somebody would spend this much time trying to learn something. And so you think it's magic because the other explanation is so labor intensive that couldn't be it. But I agree with you. There's nothing more fun than watching a film and at the same time trying to decode it, and even knowing it's fake. Yeah. Like watching something, we're like, well, there's no way they couldn't have actually jumped off the CN Tower. But even then, how did this happen? Like at no level of analysis does it make sense.
Yeah, it's that thing where, because if you take a step back on magic, most magic, it's either it's a mirror or it's a wire or
magnets,
or it's a magnet, or it's some sort of just like, you look here, go look at that, and I'm doing something over here while you're looking over there. It's like, you can count on one hand the amount of things that are used to pull off most magic. But that's the thing, is like, you're still watching it and you're just kind of like, I honestly was getting like almost like giddy in the theater with just the scope of some of the things you were pulling off, that you're also not like hanging a lantern on it saying like, here's the big thing. It's still like it's in the flow of the whole thing, which made it even better. You're not even just like, hey, we're here to do this stunt. It's like, no, you're here to tell a story, and it has all these things in the course of serving the story.
Yeah, and you can get caught up in those or not. But again, it makes it so lenticular, where me as an audience member, I can know nothing about the construction of film and watch this movie and be like, oh, wow, look, a Back to the Future parody. That's really funny. Or I can be like you, and I can watch the film twice at the same time. Once as I watch the story, and interlinearly as I also unpack how any of this is possible. And so it makes it such a 3D experience. And these are my favorite movies. I love watching. I feel this way about Josh and Ronnie's films, where I watch them and I am having a simultaneous experience where I'm not just watching a movie. I am also going, how did they even do any of this? It's a feeling that for me, I only get watching movies and magic. It's the only two art forms that give me that simultaneous experience.
I know you got to bounce. One final thing. Toronto pizza. What are we talking about with Toronto pizza? I was in Toronto for about 4 months, and I did not have a particularly good experience with Toronto pizza.
Oh, you should have called me. I'm going to tell you something. So Toronto is a magic food city, and pizza, if you know where to go, I mean, I'm assuming you love New York pizza, but there's pizza in Toronto that for my money rivals anywhere in the world. but it depends what you like. So
Sure.
the easy, quick answer for, oh wow, that's a really unbelievable slice of pizza is Batty Alley's. I'm sure when you were here, you heard of this place because it's got like an hour-long lineup every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just unbelievable pizza. But then if you like Chicago tavern style pizza, Danny's Pizza Tavern is also amazing, amazing pizza. And if you don't want to wait in line at all and want something casual on like a sourdough crust, Acute Pizza, which is a very, very casual but delicious. But this list really goes on. You can get the lemon pizza at Max, Max Pizza just off Bloor. You can get the very crispy bottom vodka verde pizza at a place called North of Brooklyn, and that's aptly named. But if you like a truly crispy bottom, it's second to none.
Look,
I hope you're writing these down.
No. It's being recorded. I'll go back and get. I've been dragging Toronto pizza for the last 6 years.
Really?
I will drag it no more.
You know what, Tom? Come to Toronto. We'll get pizza together, and then you can let me know because you live in Los Angeles.
I live in LA, but I'm from New Jersey. Because I'll just say, I like New Jersey pizza better than New York pizza. There is actually a difference.
I know exactly what you're talking about because obviously Bourdain is from New Jersey, and the kid who's playing him, Dominic Sessa, is also a Jersey kid, and so I got to enjoy a lot of Jersey pizza, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
Yeah, you throw a rock and you hit a great pizzeria in New Jersey, and so what's the rest of 2026 looking like for you? When's the Bourdain movie come out?
I think it's coming out end of summer or in the fall. I mean, it's A24's decision, and so there, but it's going to be in and around that time. And that movie's amazing. Well, what am I saying? It's my own movie.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you like it really. Like it's. I'm just very proud of it. Like I met that kid Dominic Sessa and was like, oh my god, I'm going to make a movie with this guy. Like he just is that great.
He's the dude from The Holdovers.
Exactly.
Oh my god, he's great.
He's amazing. He's a 1 in a million guy. Like you just look at his face and you go, you have a million stories and you don't even need to open your mouth. And then I'm making the Magic Card movie, but that's happening afterwards. But I'm always busy. Like you know this business.
Yeah.
You're just always busy. Yeah.
Final thing: how is the show going to be more accessible to people? The season 1 and 2.
Yes. The good news is that in America, Neon is finally going to do a huge release of Nirvana, the band, the show, both on Blu-ray, which it's never been released on ever. And with the success of the movie, which has been so crazy how successful it's become, I think we're going to release the whole thing on a streaming platform in the coming months. I don't know when, but
that's fantastic. That's great. And look, seriously, I had the best time seeing it in the theater. Everybody, try to see it in the theater if you can. It really is fun to share the movie with other people who are having a good time with it. And look out if you're not familiar with the show, you just heard it's on the way. Late summer, Anthony Bourdain movie. This is all great.
Yes.
And look, I can't thank you enough for coming on, Matt. I'm a big fan, and this has been a good time.
Vice versa, Tom. Josh Safdie said to say hi. I was just talking to him right before I came on.
Oh, that's very sweet. He's kind. He used to prank phone call the best show when he was in high school.
Yeah, fitting. He's still a prankster.
He would call up and argue about the Knicks with me.
I've never, ever in my life met somebody who knows more about the Knicks than Josh.
Well, you just met me. This is it.
Oh, really? Okay, never mind.
No. We're all in this upper tier of mentally ill people who will never experience their team winning a championship. That's just how it goes. Matt, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon, and congrats on the movie. It's really thrilling to see everybody love it so much.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to have pizza together, Tom.
Yeah. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. See, that's how we do it. I don't want to hear it. These other shows, hear these other interviews. Do other interviews end with people saying, oh, I want to have pizza with you? No, they don't. They don't. You hear these other shows, they don't end that way. They don't end that way. They end that way on the best show. We make things happen. We make things happen. That's how we do it. 201-989-0012. I want to talk later in the show about dog videos. We'll talk about dog videos later in the show. We do have a Newbridge Notes we'll do in a few minutes. When can we do that in a half hour?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
It works.
And I want to talk to you folks listening about Patreon. Best Show Patreon, patreon.com/the best show. That is the place where you can get everything you need to know about the best show. That is how you support the best show. That's how you support the show. You go to patreon.com/the best show. You sign up. That's the way that we keep the lights on for the best show. And we give you things in return. We give you things in return. You get bonus episodes. You get ad-free episodes. You get this content we do, whether it's Outgrown, the show I do with Julia Vickerman, my wife, and you get Scharpling and Worcester Q&A, and you get all these other things, and you get all the Micomania, which is Brett Davis and AP Mike watching through wrestling. And soon, there's going to be a show called Beer Buddies. Me and Mike having a cold one. Soon. That's coming soon. But the thing I'm going to ask you to do, go to the Patreon, support the show, patreon.com/the best show. Brett, can I ask you a favor, please? Can you pull a random name for people who subscribed over the last week? Is that possible?
Sure.
If we could do that, because I'm going to contact anybody who signed up. I said it last week on the show. If you signed up as a new patron over the last week, we're going to pick one of you, and I'm going to send you something. I'll send you something, and we're going to do it again. If you go to patreon.com/the best show and you are not a subscriber, not a patron, join, and we will do a random drawing from the week of the people who just joined, and somebody's going to win something.